Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our webinar today discussing how online sales are growing 3 times faster than traditional sales. All lines are currently on mute, and if you have any questions, please use the chat box and we'll address these during our Q&A period at the end of the presentation. With that in mind, I'd like to introduce Jay, who will begin the presentation.
Thanks, Remington. And on behalf of commercebuild, our Vancouver, BC-based company, along with BAASS, covering all of Canada and into chunks in the U.S. as well, I'm delighted to speak to everyone this afternoon. This will only last about 30 minutes, not to go through death by PowerPoint, but to try to highlight a few things about the industry and the market and what we're seeing today through any number of companies, big and small, that are operationalizing their investment with Sage 300 and what we're doing to enable their success. That being said, I just quickly go over the agenda. I think it's super valuable to understand what we're seeing in the world of e-commerce today. And a year ago, the words e-commerce were always relegated to people that were doing business to consumer transactions. But nowadays, the realm of what e-commerce or just commerce can be for companies goes to the layer of businesses, since many of the functional outside sales teams are no longer really able to go out and meet with customers. There's certainly a lot of the virtual webinars and meetings that are taking place, and we see e-commerce as a great additive function that can enable success for clients. We'll spend a little bit of time talking about my company, commercebuild. We'll do a quick demo via screenshots. And if I could just ask everyone, as you see something that doesn't make sense, please do use that chat function on the webinar link and write your question in there. That way we'll be able to get to all of them. And ultimately, it shouldn't last more than 45 minutes. So we'll be able to get you off with the rest of your day. Thanks again for your time, and we'll go ahead and begin a little bit about myself. I've been in the e-commerce space now for 20 plus years. I like to say I'm the janitor of commercebuild. Whenever there's a mess or a mistake or maybe something on aisle 12, I'll go to clean that up. But really, my job is to make things work, and that works at a Sage level, at a partner level with great folks like BAASS, and also at a customer level. And delighted to be here and visiting with you. A little bit about our company. We've got teams across Canada, in Montreal and in Vancouver. We've also got in the U.S. outside of Austin, Texas. Our European component is based in South Africa, and then our founder and our development team is actually over in New Zealand. So we do represent across Canada quite well. We were started in both Canada and New Zealand, and then have expanded from there across the world. And as we know today, that people buy at all times. It's not just business hours as normal for a lot of businesses out there. So we're here today to talk about e-commerce and why it's growing 3 times faster than the other methodologies of selling today. So the first thing to talk about is that we view e-commerce as more than just a shopping cart. It's about an experience, and it's really about not just the customer buying journey or buying experience, but it's also about, I call it the merchant. It's you all on the call today. It's the people that run the businesses that make commerce happen. And a piece of e-commerce is really about making this experience more robust. And what I mean by that, and I'll refer to it many times, is let's remove the human interaction that isn't valuable, or maybe doesn't create value, but let's not replace the human interaction that is valuable. And where I say that is there's so much work that is done that's just reactive work in processing orders, and that can be complemented by an e-commerce platform. But this doesn't take the place of the human experience for merchants and customers. It does take the place, however, of some of the redundancy. A lot of times people, even at the customer level, it's redundant for them to re-enter orders into an email system when they could just use a commerce platform to do so. We try to remove that rekeying of data. We'll talk about that a lot, where all of the work that goes into building anywhere from a simple to the most complex website to do a transaction. If there's a need then to rekey that data into Sage 300, that really isn't a very good e-commerce solution. So what we try to look at it is that e-commerce is a functional experience, not to take the place of humans, but to help us humans be more efficient. Why it matters and why we see things happening at a 3x pace right now, and why we're thinking about the future of your business for both if you happen to sell to consumers, or maybe you just sell to business customers, or maybe you sold to business customers, but that methodology of selling to consumers is real interesting. We think about that, and it certainly is something that at the beginning of the year, Forrester, that's one of the research analysts out there, said that business-to-business e-commerce markets in just North America are going to be worth $1.8 trillion. Just as a reference point, that's twice the size of what the consumer market is. And I know all of us are buying online now more than ever before with home deliveries and the products that we're buying from Amazon or other e-commerce merchants coming to our homes. It's certainly present. But the point being is that the businesses that support businesses that sell to consumers are also seeing an online growth, and it's expected to be twice the size of the consumer market. And if you just do a comparison, that means that in the business community, companies will be twice the size. Not the company themselves. Amazon obviously is the 800-pound gorilla, but people that support companies or even sell through Amazon will see a continued growth by adopting e-commerce. This was a study that came out in January of 2020, and then along came the pandemic, and with that, there's a massive disruption that took place. That disruption was inside of the supply chain. That disruption was inside of sales, going completely to zero or significantly down. We did see some larger companies, and not just grocery store supply chain companies doing well, but we did see some larger companies doing well. But what we also saw starting in March and April is that the traditional sales methods were either no longer viable, that face-to-face sales rep notion was no longer present, or maybe even just so much as the operation of a business, it just doesn't have the viability when there isn't the connection to the office, or there's not the ability to go into the office. So we really do see that this pandemic has caused a disruption. I'd be foolish to say that the world is all rosy when we all know that our world is forever changed with the pandemic. And with that change, we look at how to help companies do something that allows them to change their process, their ways of doing business, to actually go from just a survival mode to a thriving mode. So one of the bits and pieces from the other analysts was the 3x increase in sales. Gartner said that in 1 week, sales increased by 133%. I think all of us, that either are ordering online or we're seeing the world, but the aspect of our business and what analysts are saying, we're witnessing firsthand. No doubt that the pandemic has had an acceleration of e-commerce, whether it be to consumers or businesses to businesses, and it's going to change forever. And with that, the notion of what we do that is enabling success for our customers is very, very important, and now today than ever before. This is a simple slide here that talks a couple of other quotes from things, and I'm not going to read the quotes, but I think it's important to note that in today's world, since that face-to-face interaction with sales teams is not as prevalent, 60% of all buyers, 1 in 2 buyers, would prefer to not even have that communication. They want to go online and do their research. And we think of our buying behavior. With the online Google search today, we all do a lot of searching before we'll actually work with somebody. So what we think of commerce and the buyers today, many of them are going to do a lot of effort before they'll even reach out to us as the company. In addition, they also will sometimes be shopping and be looking for who has things in stock, who has pricing that is visible, who has the products and has the opportunity to ship them rapidly, and what does that look like? And all of that is available in our platform, but all of it is something that the buyers are not just thinking they'd like to see, but they're looking at this as a reality. Almost 90%, 9 out of 10 buyers, if Amazon doesn't have something in stock that they absolutely want, they'll go to some other source to see if it's available there. And so having the in-stock status of things, whether it's to businesses or to consumers, is super critical, and one which we see is a perfect reason to take the investment that companies have made in Sage 300 and extrapolate that into the ability to actually do something in a positive way to disrupt the business and using technology to do things. People want to buy online. People want to have their employees be able to do things more effectively. People want to have the way to interact more effectively and do so not just from normal business hours, but around the clock. You'll hear the words digital disruption all the time. I only put this slide in here because we see that this disruption is taking place. We don't want to portray that it's a doom and gloom scenario. It's something, however, that with the ongoing pandemic, that we're going to see a continuation of where people will expect to be able to buy online. So having just a catalog online without the way to place orders, we see is not quite as effective as it could be going into the rest of this year and going into 2021. So that leads us to why commercebuild and what we do. We're a software as a service company, a SaaS solution that we're not new to the game. We've been doing this now for over 15 years, and we are Sage certified for both Sage 300 and Sage X3 for e-commerce. We used to be called XM Developments, and a little bit of time before that, we were actually the OEM piece of Sage e-commerce, and a little over a year ago, we rebranded all of that together into one company called commercebuild. There wasn't anything more than the changing of our CEO and ultimately a couple of new folks and some people that we've added and joined together the worldwide team in a more effective way to do things. But Blair, our founder, is still around. We've got the same folks in development. Our overall tenure actually is 5+ years of folks that have been with our company. So we're super excited about the customer-centric culture that we're doing, and we're always looking for ways to improve it. So one of the things with software is how often you release new software functionality and are taking care of bugs. And we do so on a monthly basis, which is very rapid and very good for our customers. It also allows us to do all of the hosting, so our customers don't have to worry about maintaining servers and maintaining internet infrastructure. We use Google Cloud Platform to do so, and with that, provide an online ability to sell, but also to even have simple things like being able to view invoices, see the accounts receivable history, and make payments online, to pay invoices online, or to look at maybe documents that are part of orders. All of that is very commonplace. We call it an Amazon-like experience, and we provide that out of the box. This isn't something that takes forever to implement. That first bullet point, we can actually connect to Sage 300 and provide that in a course of about 10 days. So if customers are calling your team and asking to see their invoices, asking to get an AR report, asking for the ability to pay online, all of that is native out of the box with our platform, and going into to write that into Sage 300, and that's a 10-day implementation effort. Very straightforward. In addition, we offer the opportunity because of the way that people used to be able to buy was to call their sales rep and say, hey, I had this order a while back. Can I reorder it? Or can you allow me to learn about the new products and get your new catalog? Well, we basically take that interaction and bring it all online. And again, that's an online at the convenience of the customer, but it is tying back to what the record inside of Sage 300 is. So it's not a recreation, it's not a separate database. It is the Sage 300 database that allows every new product that's added to 300 to be then placed online. All the products that a customer has ordered in the past to be able to reorder that online and to search and look through all of their prior orders, even look through things as simple as frequently ordered items, and perhaps there's new prices available on those frequently ordered items. How to put all that together, but do that inside of Sage 300 is the one place that a change is made, and then that's replicated to us in real time and within 60 seconds. So that change is made so that there isn't two different systems that have to be updated. We talked earlier about how critical it is for people to know the product is in stock. So we have that functionality, and it goes even so far as to have multi-warehouses that are showing what is in stock, and even the quantity of not just what's in stock, but perhaps what's on the order. And that way you can provide customers, not necessarily all customers, but you can provide customers things that are really powerful for them to be able to continue ordering from you, knowing that you have it in stock, or perhaps you've got it on order, and knowing that they're getting the correct price. So every pricing discount table, everything that's contained within Sage 300 is online and providing that Amazon-like experience for your customers. The next bullet point about related items, this is the customers who buy this, buy something else. This can be all the way down to a configurable kit that you would have inside of the platform. So you can create things like 4 or 5 items that are always bought together and have that as one item that a customer can see and see what the inventory is, availability of that item. Or perhaps it's, what are the top items that everyone else buys? So we can set this up as an algorithm inside of the platform that automatically introduces other products, or if there's always the same product that's always ordered. So if you sell batteries, the battery clamps are always bought with batteries, for example. That's something we can do very easily and be able to provide that in a seamless way that makes it easy for the customer to increase their ticket order. Since the pandemic, we're all used to that same functionality with other websites, and so that's part of the out-of-the-box solution that we bring. And then finally, the last bullet point is super important, is that if you're in a quest to acquire new customers, we use the web store and the website, and we can do things in partnership with you or introduce you to some marketing agencies that can help out. We can create things for optimization. So when someone searches for the brands you represent or searches for your actual product, that search comes up first in Google. We can also tie it into the ability to have the website and the web store be not just searchable, but even go back to paid advertising or other social media outlets. So it's a very modern platform that connects direct to Sage, I was going to say Sage X3, but to Sage 300, but also doesn't have that human intervention. So those credit card transactions will then post to Sage 300. The new customer record posts to Sage 300. A new shipment location will post to Sage 300. All of which means that it's just much easier for your customers to buy from you, and hopefully will buy more from you than your competitor, but also make it easy for you to do business with them. So some of the mundane tasks of entering in transactions, via credit cards into Sage is taken care of. And that's not to say that the normal things such as an on-account order or maybe even PayPal are not included. Those are all included with the platform. But important to know, we're trying to think of ways to not have that human intervention. So as sales accelerate 3 times faster online for you, that doesn't require more headcount that you have to hire to maintain and keep up with those orders. There may be necessity of doing that in the shipping department, but not necessarily on the Sage side or on the commercebuild side. When we think about all of this, there's a typo there. It says Sage 200, it says Sage 300. But when we think about all of this, really it comes down to this. This sounds great, but how long does it take us to get this operational? And we do this in a period of as little as 10 days if it's that simple view-only customer portal. But if it's a full-fledged site, we spend the time to sit down with you and plan out what we're going to achieve, go through and connect to Sage 300, and with that connection, be able to have that bilateral capacity. So we're able to see all of the past orders and see what customers have ordered, see every realm of transaction, but also all customers and what they've ordered over the years. So you have the ability to have that connection made and have that in real time, even for your employees to utilize. And then we're going to spend time to build the site. And it's during this build process that we're able to do very rapidly because we launch anywhere from as few as 1 to as many as 5 to 6 new clients per week. We've got this in a very programmatic approach that we can build sites very rapidly. And along that build phase is where we're going to hand over the end product to you to test. That's super critical. And it's not just us looking at it that says it's right, but if you come to us and say, we want to have a website that looks like Grainger, and we want to have a way that we're able to place orders, with this method, and we want to add credit cards. We want to make sure that all of that's going to work. But it's also in this test phase that we're going to spend some time training you in order to use the platform yourself, so that if you don't want to have an expensive marketing consultant on speed dial, if you want to manage it yourself, we have obviously a support mechanism as well. But our end goal is that upon launch, the platform itself is an extension of Sage 300 and allows you to go online very rapidly, and it isn't disrupting your normal day-to-day operations. So if you had a hankering to have a website online by Thanksgiving, that's not just a reality. That's part and parcel of what we do in conjunction with BAASS and enabling success for our clients to plan everything out and connect to your Sage 300, and then go all the way through the process that we have that lowers your risk for your business and doesn't take a lot of time and effort on your part, but ultimately allows you to achieve a super fast return on investment. We look at this as normally in the neighborhood of 25 to 40 hours of time on your part. So I don't want to portray it's nothing, but a lot of that time is the amount of effort that you put into the testing of the new store, but also the training that's included as well. The 40 hours, that's over a 30 to 60 day process. That's for a very complex and very unified platform, maybe multi-currency and even multilingual platform. Usually most of our clients are going to spend 20 to 25 hours total in time of planning things out, of going through the connection, which usually takes all of about an hour. But all the effort to work with us to build a great website and web store for you. Maybe sometimes we're not going to replace the website you've got. Maybe we're going to do a store.url.com, and that's complimentary, or we're helping you to rebuild and revamp your whole website with new pictures and new products and new innovation. So really it's something that allows you to hit that milestone of getting online, but not having a lot of time to do so. I'm going to just go through a couple quick screenshots here to get a sense of what the platform will do. These are super rudimentary, and ultimately, if you're interested, please get with BAASS or with us, and let's schedule a demo so we can go in further detail. Chances are we have a customer just like many of what your businesses are like or very close to, that we've done work before, and so we can walk through how we were able to build a nice website for them We try to keep things pretty simple. Usually, if a customer can get somewhere where they need to go in 2 or 3 clicks, that's really good. So things like my item history or quick order there that you see at the top are great. We can embed videos, and all of this is super easy. Upon training, that your homepage and the things that are first to come up in a website, you're able to control that. So if you wanted to have monthly specials, or you wanted to have different things that are available to your customers online, we're able to show you how to put those videos in from a supplier, or maybe make your own video. We can show you how to make changes to this, and those changes are done such that you can see what's going to happen. And it's a platform called What You See Is What You Get. Super common in building web stores, but our team of experts works with companies to make it simple and easy for them to go through and do this. Back to that frequently ordered thing, I've got just an example of this, of ways in which we can show what somebody has ordered, what quantity they ordered last. In things like the blue wagon, you may have a minimum order quantity that folks need to buy, and we can set that up with you. So if you're selling a popular product, we have ways of configuring to be able to maintain inventory of that product by enforcing minimum order quantities. If you have new prices available, we can show that, or we can show quantity discounts as well. We have the ability to have all of this that's easy for a customer to buy. And a lot of times we look at perhaps a competitor, or look at somebody like Grainger that's already done a good job, and mimic the buying behavior that they've done with a platform that you have configurations on. So if you wanted a background different from white here, no problem. We're able to do that very readily. We also have the ability, obviously, with pictures and product descriptions and all those robust things. We have the opportunity to present all of that. The master data comes from Sage 300. So all of the input that comes to you from Sage 300, such as the inventory, the price, any discounts to the price if you're selling at a wholesale level, and the headers are there of what the product description is. But then we can add pictures, we can add deeper descriptions, we can even add customer ratings, all of which allow for a checkout that's going to be a little bit better. I wanted to note that all of the way that we pull information on this screen here, going back to that checkout process of where are the warehouses, where are they located. Perhaps it's a new address that a customer is wanting to enter. We can configure that as well. The bits and pieces about the shipping method, the bits and pieces of whether it's going to be an on-account transaction or a credit card transaction, or a lot of people are doing cash on delivery, pick up at our warehouse. All of those things are easily configured inside of the website and the web store for that checkout experience to be super straightforward and easy to do. You can see here that we have the ability to customize this page with purchase order numbers or comments and instructions. So if somebody normally has some things that they're putting in an email, or they are sharing with your customer service team over the phone, all of that can be placed and is readily present inside of the web store. And once the submit button happens, that transaction is written into Sage 300. It's all done without human intervention, because we're a Sage certified partner. That real-time delivery, and we actually make changes to and read from over 75 tables inside of Sage 300. So it allows for a transaction to come into 300 much like a keyed-in transaction or an EDI transaction, but also have all of that rich information, such as the purchase order, the reference numbers, all things that are creating this all the way back to how you can have everything that's available for your customer, or maybe just people inside of your team to be able to place these orders. All of this is available, and makes it super simple to get a return on investment. Around the world, we've got some really great customer logos here. Sometimes, like for example, the Shark Ninja brand of vacuum cleaners and super high performance blending machines. We're not the website here in the U.S., but we are the web store and the website for Shark Ninja's distributor down in Australia and New Zealand and Hong Kong and Singapore. We do a lot of work with pharma and healthcare. We do a lot of work with industrial equipment, chemical equipment, sporting goods, office supplies. McGee Group is one of the largest distributors of glasses and sunglasses based in Georgia. All of the clients are using the core of our platform, and that core is the same. So whether it's a Sage 300 ERP that we're connecting to or a Sage X3 that we're connecting to, the core of what the software does and the hosting is all the same. So it really does deliver that ability to get to that 3x revenue growth, sales growth by selling online, and do so in a rapid fashion. My email is there. My phone number is there. Obviously, if there's a question, don't hesitate to reach out to BAASS or reach out to us. We've got one of our members of our team that's based in Vancouver, Travis Taylor, that many of you may know. Travis was with Sage for 9 years, and will also be a great point of contact. And we'd be delighted to go through and do a demo with you and help in any way to provide the opportunity to enable a better investment for your Sage 300. By the way, it doesn't mean that you have to upgrade Sage if you're on an older version of Sage. We are backwards compatible, and at which time you do that upgrade, we're able to be forwards compatible as well. So that being said, Remington, I'm going to pass the baton to you and see if there's any questions we're able to answer here as we are going through the webinar.
So I do have some questions here, and if anyone thinks of any, just enter them in the chat. So the first question I have is, how much work is involved from my company's side to create a web store for my business?
Yeah, that's a great question. So back to that one slide, if I'll just go backwards in time here. Boy, I'm just super embarrassed by my typo there. Sage 200, my bad. but in this slide, you see that that plan phase. That plan phase is going to take about 5 hours, 3 to 5 hours of your time. That's going to be at the very beginning of a project. The relevant effort there is to make sure that we're going to deliver what you're expecting, what you've seen in the demo, and it's going to be a successful project at the end. The connection phase usually takes about an hour, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but about an hour is usually what we budget for. And it's in the plan and connect stages that we're getting input from you about what are other web stores that you like, what are the color schemes for your company, what's the logos that you want to use. If you already have a website that's online, we can migrate that website over to our platform very easily and get you going. The build phase does have an iterative process back and forth where we're building landing pages, we're building the home page, we're working with you to come up with a product category so it makes it easy for people to buy your products online. So in that space, that's usually going to be somewhere in the 5 hours as well. Could be a little bit less if you've already got that documented, or maybe you've got a website and a web store that have a partial connection to 300, or maybe no connection at all. But we can use some of those things and reduce the amount of time there. When we get over to test, this is going to be where we do recommend budgeting about 5 hours for the training component of this. And then the testing component, most customers are able to accomplish that in anywhere from 4 to 6 hours as well. That's commonly called user acceptance testing, and that piece is critical. We're going to make sure the order goes all the way through into Sage 300, and the normal process you have is enhanced without manual intervention by people to be able to help out. And then that launch phase is usually only a couple hours of effort. So you add all that up, and the low end range can be about 20 hours. The high end range is about 40 hours. I would say most customers will spend some amount of time with this, so it's not something that we're trying to build it for you without input and not deliver what you're expecting. And a goal we have is also to give you the training necessary to manage it yourself. If you wanted to make a change week 3, for example, to the platform or to the homepage. But again, all of that has a deeper level of discussion. We'd be happy to go through that as we're able to help folks to get online. Thank you.
The next question I have here is, what Sage 300 features would be integrated into a web store made by commercebuild?
Yeah, so in the tables, we are pulling data from all of your customer and their customer order history. We're pulling the flag if they're on hold, or if we're not pulling necessarily the whole credit record, but if you place somebody on hold, we do pull that information. We pull relevant data about where their ship-to locations are, and then we pull relevant data of other factors such as the commonly ordered products and tabulating all that. So we're not making an API call, or we're not trying to do a webhook to do this. This is directly from within the Sage 300 table, from Sage 300 to our platform and back and forth. Same with all of your product information, so all of the SKU information, all the pricing that's associated with that, all the tables that you're created inside of Sage 300, we are able to process that, and even some custom fields that maybe you've created, we have some ability to read and collect some of that data as well, and actually write to that data. We are going to pull all of the warehouse inventory information and what's on order and what's available across the platform. So we're providing the chance for a replication, not of everything that's inside of Sage 300, but as I shared, it's 75 tables of pretty good detail, granular detail, and it doesn't require a magic decoder ring. It's pulling native table to table, and then it's available inside of our platform, so that every customer that's bought from you, every product that you sold, what you sold to them, what pricing you sold to them, what new pricing that you put in, what even customer groups you've created, if you've placed together sales reps and other things, those are all part of the package that we're able to pull into our platform. So it's pretty robust. I would dare say it is the most robust of any of the companies that connect, because we're doing so not within a configuration that requires coding. All of this is out of the box, and usually the connection takes, as I said, we budget an hour. Usually the connection takes about 5 minutes, and after that it takes anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes to replicate the X3 raw data to our platform. And because we know what the raw data is, we're able to make good use of it. And then important to note that replication is taking place all without any effort or manual intervention. We do have the proper ways to show if an order is processed or not, and that way we can alert you if an order for whatever reason may fail. That may be because the customer is ordering something from the past that's no longer available, or if in fact that connection has been disrupted and it hasn't had a chance to resync. So if you take your 300 offline for maintenance, our platform will keep all the web transactions so that 24/7 it's available to process transactions, and then once that connection is reestablished, all those transactions will flow into Sage 300 and do so without anyone on our side or your side having to do any effort. Great question.
And the last question I have here is, can we offer multiple discount levels that can be assigned to different customer groups?
Yes, absolutely. So there's not a limit on our platform of what the discounting level or the different pricing tiers or structures are. It's what is available inside of Sage. So we do have the capacity to do promotions, which would be different. But to answer the question, yes, inside of the customer grouping, you can assign different pricing structures or discount tiers. However you have that set up in Sage, we're going to read that data, and with that be able to have by customer, when they log in, they're going to see what pricing that they receive from you, just as if they called you to place an order, or they sent you an email and asked for what the price is. The same field inside of Sage that you would look to see that pricing, that's identical to what the customer will see. Now, I did mention that chance to sell to new customers. So if you have a list price established, that's usually the pricing that we would put in. But in some instances, people that are trying to build their online store, they'll give a discount. We can do that via a promotion code, or it can be something that's coming direct from Sage 300 that comes to the platform. But all that is handled seamlessly, and with the customers that have been with us for 15 years, we've been doing it for a long time and have worked out a lot of the kinks to make that functionally very, very easy to accomplish without effort on your part or our part or BAASS's part to make that connection a reality. Great question. Thank you for that.
So with that being all the questions that we have for today, I'd like to thank everyone again for taking time out of their busy days to attend, as well as you, Jay, for presenting today. Everyone who has registered will be receiving a recording of the webinar via email, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day.
Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.